All right, squad, welcome back for another end of week update. So this week I spent a lot of time in the beginning of the week actually reviewing some new editors for my channel. So I was looking for a new editor for my YouTube channel at Ken Grief. So I put out a little few messages on LinkedIn and Twitter and ended up getting hundreds of responses of people that were keen to do the work. So we sent out a trial video and actually got a whole bunch of edits back, and I spent time reviewing those. So there were some really good ones, and from there I picked a couple to work with moving forward. So hopefully we can see an improvement in the quality of the long form videos on YouTube. So we will see how that goes. So last week we touched on the new visual updates for Clipflow, the new version 2, kind of trying to condense more information into the screens. So with that in mind, I spent the beginning of the week refactoring our endpoints and our views to support versioning. So that means that we can have version 1 of the app running to our current users and then work on version 2 concurrently in the background and to keep deploying that so that we can also flick between and see and make sure everything works. So I spent a lot of time doing that. This is one thing I actually recommend you do early on in your app if you are actually committed or you have got some traction. As your app grows, it becomes harder to do this. So our apps is still quite small, but it still took over 400 files to be refactored. So it was a full day's work, and definitely something that I would almost recommend you do from day one. Set up a V1, and then you can do all your controllers and you can do all your endpoints there, and then your views as well. And then as you grow, you can just add a V2, and then it makes it much simpler, all right? One of the core new features that we're working on in Clipflow is the ability to review video internally. So we needed to find a video playing library. So we've used Video.js before, and I just wanted to make sure that it was still the best in class. But after a bit of researching, we actually stumbled across VidStack, which is built by the team at Reddit, and it has a really cool API and allows you to fully customize the UI, and we are going to use that one moving forward. Last week, I also touched on the little bit of a fumble that we did with the cold emailing, the tool that we were using. So we've been researching and testing out a couple of tools, and we've landed on Woodpecker for our email or cold outreach emails. And mainly because prior to starting the trial, or we started a trial, it lapsed. I then dealt with support to ask for an extension so we could actually test it out properly, and they were very, very helpful. So we have gone with that tool, and it's actually turned out to be very handy and simple to use, and it has all the things we need. So we are working with that now, and one of the key features for us was the ability to do A/B testing on subjects and also the body copy, so we can test what's working the best. So we have been warming up our emails as well. So basically what that means is we're slowly starting to increase volume. So we've bought a new getclipflow.com domain name, obviously doing a lot of research into this. We don't want our clipflow.co domain name to ever be blacklisted by email because we send user notifications. So we've done a few steps there. So we have implemented a subdomain for it's now n.clipflow.co to send actually transactional emails. So if that ever gets blocked, it doesn't block our core domain. And then also we've got a new domain as well to do cold outreach. So it's a good practice to do. So something I highly recommend. When you first start your app, you get your fresh domain name, get another domain like something like getappname.com, just so that you can do cold outreach and start warming up that email as soon as you can. Bypass the spam folder and actually land in the inbox. So on bypassing the spam folder, there's a few other things we need to do. So a lot of technical things like setting up the DKIM and setting up a whole bunch of records as well as the SPF records for domains. So I spent a lot of time this week doing that for a whole bunch of our domains just to try and increase the likelihood that it actually ends up in the inbox where people can actually see it rather than the spam folder, because we could be sending out 2,000 emails, but none of them actually hitting inbox. It makes you feel real sad, but really no one's actually seeing your product. And then near the tail end of the week, I spent a lot of time working on our new media reviewer. So this is a major pain point in my current workflow for YouTube. It's getting the edit done and then making reviews and comments on this edit. There are a bunch of tools out there that allow you to do this, but we are trying to keep everything contained within one package, one place. So you can do your whole workflow in one app. So we're building this out at the moment. So it's starting to come together and it's quite exciting. We're using, like I said, VidStack for the video previewing, and then we're tying in using the API so that you can, make a comment at a certain timestamp and then resolve that. And it just makes it very easy to not send emails or jump in a messaging app and try and communicate with words what to change. It's very much easier to say at this frame, change this, and away you go. So very excited for that feature to come. It should be there in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully everyone can give it a try. Just a quick note as well, we've created a channel on YouTube called Inidium Clips, and it's basically just a dump of all these kind of ideas that we have through the week. So they're not properly edited and thought through videos, they're just a whole bunch of snippets, and we're using it as kind of a record keeping for us so that we can look back in the future and say, oh, that's what we were thinking at the time. So we're just documenting our journey, and it's less structured than our normal long form content. So if you're interested in seeing what we're thinking during the week or how we're going, check out Inidium Clips on YouTube. So that is it for this week. It was a pretty good week, lots of things happening. We've managed to book a few meetings with some really interesting people for next week, so we'll see how those go. And we're just gonna keep cranking. We are really just trying to build this tool to suit our workflows at the moment as well. We're finding the more videos we're doing, we're finding pain points, and we're trying to address those, because we know that if we address those, it'll help other people as well having similar points. So with that being said, we'll catch you on the next one.